Mr. Sanders, come on up front, sir. Let's not be talking over people. We, as a community and as this board, we've gone through some transitions. Danny, you and your staff, being facilities man you are, we worked and endeavored to contract out the collection of trash out of those centers. We've got the prisoners policing them up. We got a scheduled cycle of opening and locking. And this has been a evolving process that we've went through. And y'all have done a good job at working some of those issues. We appreciate that. But one of the things I think, the reason to put it here is that I wanted us to get input from the commissioners as the concerns they may have of that particular collection centers that we still have to work on. Some of the centers, I think, have had an overflow of material, gates placed at the gates, and that's been corrected. But I think probably two of the things we indicated were the availability of excess by the contractor, and I think that's been resolved pretty much. We've got 2 locks on every center now where they can get in as they need to get in.
They've always had a key to every center. I think what happened is with the center on 129 there, they lost their key. They were told to, we worked something out where they were going to put their locks on the gates with ours. The guy that went out there that was sent to change the lock or add the lock in, we left our lock unlocked so they could add into it. He took both our locks off and put their locks on. And so we wound up just getting the key to their locks and you know, furnishing Commissioner Sampson with a key to that, and you know, so he would be available to open and close that thing when necessary.
Okay. Is there adequate containers in those centers now? Do you feel like that they need to be more containers there?
I've spoke with Ray Gunner with Advance, you know, about trying to keep them empty pretty good. What we're having a problem with on some, we could add some. This time of the year is always bad. You get a weekend with pretty weather, and everybody is out there cleaning their yards and cleaning up around, and it just gets a real heavy influx with trash this time of the year. Another problem we're having is because we're unable to man them on the weekend, and me and Glenn had talked about this, what we do now is once we open them back Friday morning, we generally don't shut them back till Sunday night, or actually Monday morning. And they're going in there, pick up the cans on the roll-off cans, get to the landfill. If there's some tires in there, which is what's causing us the biggest problem, they'll open the gate. There's 4 or 5 tires there. They shut the thing back and take it right back to the center. Don't empty it. I called out to the landfill and spoke with Jeff about that, and he had told some of the drivers that, well, look, you dump, we'll help you just throw tires back in there, and then, you know, when it gets back to our center, I'll send somebody to get the tires, and we'll put them at the cage that's at my county barn.
Okay, so as I understood, you said that if there's a tire in the container, they won't touch it. And Ray told me that he's going to have a talk with his drivers, and if it's if it's 4, 5, 6, where they could dump, throw them back in the can, that they'll do that for us. But if there's some of them, we'll get there, and you don't know when they're put in there, and they'll have 20 tires in there, and the landfill won't accept it. You know, and so it's brought back, and then it looks like the appearance is that it wasn't emptied or wasn't dumped. And then we're having the problem, especially like on these last nice weekends,
they'll get there to dump them roll-off cans, and they're packed so full of stuff. People have, thrown so much debris on them that they can't get their tarps back. They won't pull them without if they can't get the tarp back, they're not going to pull them.
Okay. So the availability, they've assured that they will produce more or give us more containers as we do. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And of course, I know that there's no way you can have signs up. It's just amazing that people will not. They don't have. I mean, they don't. Their need is to dump. They dump. Anybody have any suggestions on the tires or anything concerned?
I have another question just before that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Have we had any complaints from any of the green box people on the green boxes?
No, ma'am, I hadn't received one, not since they took it over.
You mean around the business?
People that lease green boxes from them.
There's, of course, the availability of dumping and all. Is what do you see that we can do other than increase the containers, access, availability, and the tire issue? The tires are collected at the shop now until we get a load, right?
That's right.
And we take them.
We have signs that say no tires, and they're just going to sneak in there. My suggestion would be, other than manning the site, you would just about put some cameras up, let somebody think that it's being monitored somehow. And the last big tire issue we had, which was at Ridge Road, we actually prosecuted the fellow, and we went to court on it, and he's been made to pay restitution. It's about, I think it was $650 something is what it wound up. We charged him. I charged him for having to haul them off per tire, what we paid for the 3 men I sent up there to load all of them into the van, and the time they used. And so, hopefully something like that will help deter some of it. But the camera option would be, probably one of the best things we could do. And, hopefully somebody sees that, keep the honest people honest.
We have the sign up saying no tires, but maybe we should have one say bring tires to the county shop.
We really don't want to, if we didn't have to, other than...
I know, but there's going to be tires, and if we stop them from putting them in the dumpsters or anywhere else, they're going to be in the ditches and the side of the roads. Be like the old times. We know it's going to happen. They're going to get rid of them somehow.
I had 12 green box dumpsters down there. You know how many I got now?
How many?
8. You know what happened to the other 4? The bottom right now, they said that they ain't gonna fix them. They ain't they done took them away from there and they brought a dump back down there since. Let me ask you this question here. Do you have a copy of the contract that we signed with it, man? Do you have a copy of that contract?
No, I don't.
Is anything in the contract saying that they wasn't going to accept no tires? That they wasn't going to accept this? We pay those people. We pay those people. So what good? And the landfill can take those tires. So now, what good is that and what makes it so bad is that when fuel go up, the gentleman said it right here, that day goes up.
Well,
and what good is that gentleman said right here, said that they would take those green box and cut the bottom out of them where they rotten and weld them back together. I ain't got about 8 green box down there. 8 green box. I guess the rest of them got more than 8 because they got more than what I have down here in District 1 because they got about 2 or 3 rollbacks. Now when we got $25,000 in the budget, when are we going to start working on that recycle center down there? We got $25,000 in the budget for for that recycle center, District 1. When are we going to start spending some of that money down there? Before we get too far about the budget this and the budget that. Because I see here the letter here that on the agenda that we're going to ask for $400,000 more. And I want to know when the $25,000 going to get spent down there at the recycle center.
Commissioner, if you need more boxes there, Mr. Sanders, I'd suggest you find 2 additional boxes or whatever else, let the contract know.
I need more than 2 because Danville, because the people from Danville say 8 miles from going over there to Hillbride. They save 8 miles to bring the garbage to District 1, then to go to Hillbride. That's why they say they bring it up here, because they save 8 miles. And that's why it runs over down there. I got one roll back. You go down there right now, you see couches, mattress, laying all up against it. You go down there. Go down there.
The prisoners do not put those in the school bags whenever they go there?
When they go there, they put, but when they get there, they don't come but once a week. They don't come but once a week down there.
Commissioner Bryan, if you have a problem with some extra dumping, we try to send them. We try to clean all of them up on Mondays. And if you see something like that, if you'll give me a call, I'll make sure somebody gets out there.
Well, see, the reason I said that because the gentleman said here and said what they gonna do. They remove them. They should bring them back because they said they gonna fix them. I don't need to call you when the gentleman's in the contract that they remove those dumpsters, those green boxes when they ride, and they bring them back and sell them back down there. That'd be nice if you have a copy of the contract. There's a lot. Get you a copy of the contract out this office. And then when they say that we're going to bring this back, we're going to take that back, then we see what the contract says, what you done signed.
Okay. The tie situation, I don't know of any correction to that. Mr. Floyd suggested bringing them to the shop. I know the shop, we don't want to deal with them either way. At the collection center or at the shop. You might, you suggested camera, Danny, do you have an idea of the expense of the camera?
No, sir, I don't, but I'd be glad to look into that and see what it would cost us.
I don't know that you'd have to have one for every center. If you had one and just a way to locate it and move it, it's just the event of saying this is supervised occasionally.
What you do is one that works and 3 dummies.
Well, anyway, that's something to look at, I guess, because in the environment we are in, the way it's been operated, we've improved significantly from the first few weeks that we were operating those centers without anyone there. But we know it's going to be continually something that's a problem for us, and each, as you indicated, if each commissioner will keep you informed, it'll be helpful to keep those areas policed. And they go once a week, the prisoners, is that correct?
That's right.
Is that adequate, or should they be more?
A lot of times it's not, and Commissioner Sampson will call me and let me know there's, extra trash or it's nasty there. And Miss Epps has a fellow that pretty much does a heck of a job just keeping that place clean. And if you have a problem, just give me a call and I can get them out there pretty much any day except for Fridays.
Is there anything else that we can do to?
Commissioner Bryant had a good point. We need the cans that if we can put more cans in them, and they're going to empty them and keep them up, then of course that would help at all of them for sure.
Now you're talking about just for his area now or all the time. And you mentioned that springtime and we have additional cleaning. Maybe we should go ahead and set an agenda so that the schedule. And February, March, did we put a few extra ones at each center, and then after the rush is over, then they can be removed?
That's something. If you have a good suggestion, Mr. Floyd, if you have a real feel for that cycle, and y'all have worked them for several years now,
and maybe another period of time.
Identify
Christmas, right? Yeah,
Christmas.
Around Christmas, terrible. That's and if